So tonight, my friend, we move, as the slide says here, to a new subject, blasphemy. This will be the first class on blasphemy, which is number 6 of Adam commandment. And it starts with the selling of Joseph until the end of the book of Genesis. So by this, actually, you see how the entire book of Genesis, from the beginning to the end, cover the 6th commandment of Adam, starting, as we already said, starting with the idolatry, then adultery, bloodshed, theft with Abraham, then justice with Jacob, fighting for justice is number 5. And now, with the selling of Joseph, we move to number 6, the final one, of Adam. So it's fascinating to see how Moses wrote his book along the commandment on his mind. It's not a simple thing. So now we know that as we read the sections, the section that start with the selling of Joseph till the end of the book, we will learn more and more issues concerning blasphemy that otherwise we wouldn't know. So as before, Moses actually dedicated the entire section to blasphemy under the title of blasphemy, and anything that is said in that section sheds some light on blasphemy is, how to repair it, what causes it, and so on. And the information you get here, you don't get in any other place. And for Noahide, who the 7 commandments are the backbone of our movement, the idea of learning about blasphemy is very important. That's the final commandment of Adam from Eve, Adam and Eve in Eden. Number 7 is just an addition that Noah added after the flood. But the primordial 6 are the backbone of everything. Even the 10 commandments of Sinai are only offshoot of the basic 6. So the first story in the chain of stories now, considering blasphemy, is the story of selling Joseph. Why is it called blasphemy? We'll see in a minute. So what is the story? You know the story already, but let's kind of survey it from bird view without going into too much detail. So you know the story. It starts with Jacob, Genesis chapter 37, I believe. He has returned to the land of Israel after so much tribulation, trials, and fighting for justice. Now he settled in Israel, and he thinks that he's going to settle there with peace. That's what Rashi says. Oh, no. Righteous people, Rashi says, righteous persons should not look for peace in this world. And indeed, he thinks that he's going to sit down in peace. Instead, he's getting the whole mishap of selling Joseph. A terrible, terrible sin of brother selling a brother. So what happened? As the Torah described there, so much information in just few few sentences that the family is divided. The brothers are deeply divided along the mothers. The children of Leah look superiorly upon the others. And there's a cliquish trend. The children of Bilhah are friendly with Zilpah, but they are unfriendly to Rachel and so on. So the cliquish family. Not only that, but they speak bad mouth on one another. Bad mouth is gonna play a major role. In fact, the title of my class today, our class today, is the bad mouth and bad. But how did I write it there? Title: devastating sin of bad mouth. That's actually the title of our class. Devastating sin of bad mouth. So everything starts with them speaking bad mouth on each other. What did they speak? Amazingly, Rashi quote the Midrash that says that each group blamed the other for violating the 7th commandment of Noah. As simple as that. Eating blood. Eating a limb torn from living animals. So each one blamed each other with no base, just spreading bad mouth of lies. And the hatred between them grows more and more. Joseph is now 17. He's a son of Rachel, and he's caught in this in his game of bad mouth. And he speaks to his father, Jacob, bad mouth about the brothers. He tells them what each group said on the other, which of course caused them to hate him now. So the mutual hatred is diverted towards him. How dare he speak to his father, telling him what's happening. His father, amazingly, Jacob, don't stop him. And the rule is, the person who listens to bad mouth is as guilty as the one who speaks it. He should have stopped, rebuke Joseph, but he did not. He does not. Moreover, instead of rebuking him, he gave him as a present a tunic, a stripped tunic, which is a sign of royalty. Precious, expensive tunic as a sign of special love, which, of course, increases jealousy and the hatred towards him. Now, as if to pour gasoline on fire, Joseph, who is now 17 only, he doesn't have any life experience yet, he comes and tells him some bad dreams that he had about them. And one dream is that one sheath on a field, their sheaf bow to his one, and then next day comes to them telling them, I saw the sun and the moon and 11 stars, which means 11 brothers, bow to me. All they need is just to hear that. That really furious them. And they actually burst at him. He said, are you going on the throne? You'll be our king? And they attribute the dream not to a prophecy, but rather to his big ego. And they want to kill him. Not only, first of all, they don't speak. They are so enraged. The Torah said they stop talking to him, which made things even worse. Because if they don't speak to him, he's unaware how much they hate him. And then one day, I'm just cutting the story short. One day, his father sent him to the brother who grazed their sheep near the city of Shechem, far away. And Joseph is supposed to take the food to them, and he gets lost. As he gets lost, he can't find them. A man suddenly pop up from nowhere, and the man asked him, "Hey lad, where are you going? What are you doing here?" So Joseph said the famous word, "I seek my brother." There is a lot of songs written above that line. I seek my brothers, where are they? So to him, innocent Joseph, in experience, they are his brothers. Where are they? And the man says, go there. I saw them. They are there. Must be in Dotan. Dotan is identified today. We know where it is. So Joseph goes there innocently, and his brother grab him and want to kill him. Now they're far away from home, and they say, let's kill him. Let's see if the dream that he had are going to be fulfilled. Aha! And Reuben step up and says, "Oh, my brothers, let's not kill him. Let's throw him to the pit. He is planning to come back later and pick him up." The Midrash said, obviously he tried to save his life, but the pit is full of snakes and scorpions. Miraculously, somehow he stayed alive. Not yet bitten, let's say. And as they sit down, eat and drink, completely oblivious to what happened to the brother there in the pit. What a story. Then a caravan passed by, Ishmaelite, and Judah now step up. The names are very important. First Reuben, now Judah. And Judah also wants to save him. And he says, "My brother, let's not kill him. We don't want to have his blood on our hands. Let's sell him to the caravan, and at least we get him out of our way." Indeed, they go out. They pick up Joseph from the pit. They sell him to the Ishmaelite, who later on send him to Midianite. And the Midianite finally sell him to Egypt as a slave to the Potiphar, the officer of Pharaoh. Now, the rabbi said that the man who in the field was no other but an angel that God sent down to direct Joseph to the area where the brothers are, because God wanted to implement the decree that he told Abraham years ago, that the children will descend to Egypt. And Rashi said, Hashem could have picked up many other ways to bring them down. But Hashem uses what we do in life. He uses that event or steps that we take to implement what he wants. That's called kingship. A very important notion of the story. Kingship of God behind the scene. God is moving history, moving people around, not by forcing them, but using what they do. Each one of us is doing things from free will, unaware of God's plan. But somehow God behind the scene execute his wish. Turn out, if you think about it, if you think more deeply about it, the family finally end up in Egypt, not because God decreed, but as a punishment for what they did. They sold Joseph to slave in Egypt. Now Elohim, the attribute of justice, make sure that they themselves end up Egypt as slaves. So measure for measure. So don't say that the God chased them out just because he wanted to bring him down to Egypt. He sent them down there to be slave. They came out on their own merit or on sin. They sold his brother to slavery, and they are now going to slavery. Measure for measure. Elohim. Elohim is now taking over the story. What about YHVH, the merciful one? She disappeared. She disappeared completely by the story. Why? Why does she disappear from the story? Apart from a few selected places, we see why. Because she is offended by the blasphemy that they did. So what is blasphemy? I'm going to turn off close the door. So what is blasphemy? On the surface, blasphemy simply means do not curse God, either privately or in public, doesn't matter. That's a simple explanation. Everyone understands that. The Talmud, however, goes a little deeper, not only cursing God's name, but even God's substitute names. So the whole halachic issues, what constitute blasphemy, cursing God. But that's not the whole story. There is a more prevalent way of committing blasphemy, nothing to do with cursing. Blasphemy in the sense of desecrating the honor of God as a king. If God is a king here, kingship demands honor. If you do anything to diminish that honor in the eyes of others, you commit blasphemy or desecration of God's name. Remember, blasphemy requires other people to see what you're doing. What does it mean? And here I quote the Rambam. The Rambam explains, how do I commit blasphemy? How a person commit blasphemy? He says like this. If a person is known to be a Torah follower, a Torah observer, a righteous person, not necessarily a rabbi, but learned person, pious. He is a follower of the Torah and keeping all the mitzvot, and suddenly for some reason, he performed a despicable act, ugly act, that people raise their brows and they say, wow, how could the Torah, he's supposed to learn, to know that it's forbidden. So it means that the Torah was not effective, didn't affect him. So that diminishes, if a person performs such a deed, despicable crime or act, that will raise other people's brows and say, oh, the Torah is not effective, that constitutes desecration of God's name in the eyes of others. It diminishes the honor of God's name. And he says the same thing in the opposite way. If such a person, also a pious Torah observer, will now commit good things, exceptionally good things that other people wouldn't do, that constitutes sanctification of God's name. Why? Because people say, wow, look at him. Look, the Torah is changing. The Torah made a good impact on him. Look what he has done. So going back to our story, here is a royal family, Jacob family, that just now promoted from all nations to be Israel. Wow. The angel called him Israel. He's singing with the angelic choir. Holy family. Now, if such a family deteriorates and perform something so ugly, so bad as selling their own brother, that very few people on earth will do such things. Who is going to sell his brother to slavery? If they commit such a crime, they have not only transgressed theft, abduction, selling the brother. Of course, they committed a sin of violated the commandment. But more than that, they have committed desecration of God's name in any eyes of people who read it or see it. Do you know that in over the centuries, many enemies of Israel has used the story to blame Israel? So the story has actually caused people to desecrate Israel's name and God's name in the eyes of people. So here's why we the selling of Joseph is perceived as an abomination, as an act of desecration of God's name. And if you commit desecration of God's name, the Shekhinah, offended Shekhinah, depart from you. And that's why she is not present from that chapter 37 till the end of the book. The Shekhinah appear only 2 times there. Maybe one more time you see Samson, but that's basically 2 times. I'll tell you where in a minute. But she disappeared. The honor of the king was blemished, diminished, and offended Shekhinah disappear. We will talk many times about how in the book the Shekhinah appears in different forms. First, in Eden as grace, participating in creation. Then, after the sin of Eden, she came down. Adam, where are you? Now she is forgiving. Then in Eve, that's just to remind you, in Eve's mouth, she is a mother who loves everything, everybody. She hates cruelty. And that's why she overturned Sodom. And so forth. And now she appears as a king who deserves honor. What does it mean, a king? It doesn't mean that she sits on a throne and everybody should bow to her. King means intervening in history, behind the scene. So the Torah says that she disappeared from the heavenly court, or she is shy. She in the flood she was saddened and shied away from the court, leaving Elohim to execute the flood. Here she simply disappeared from the text. So leaving Elohim to execute the verdict, to bring them down to Egypt. So on the surface now, we now understand that we are moving, to sum up what we learned so far. The Torah is moving now the reader, us, from commandment number 5, civil order and justice, to commandment number 6, blasphemy. And the story begins with the selling of Joseph, which is the Torah couldn't find a better story to present the point. Can you find a better story to show blasphemy? Jacob family selling their own brother. So that caused them to go down to Egypt, measure for measure. The byproduct, if you want, Elohim also executed his decree to bring them down to be enslaved in Egypt for 210 years. So that's only the bad part. The Torah is not finishing here. The story continues. This is only the beginning. The rest of the story, from now on, the Torah tells us how the family recuperated from that. Yes, they committed blasphemy, desecration of God's name, but now they need to correct it, and they corrected it. They try to cleanse themselves. And here we're talking about the Shekhinah as waiting for us from Eden. Remember, she asked him, Adam, where are you? Come to me and admit your sin. Admit your sin, ask forgiveness, and I will forgive you. So that's what they're doing. The rest of the story from this chapter onwards is how the family come out of the depression of blasphemy. First, they do it step by step, not all of them at once. It's very difficult to come out of that. First, Judah is Tamar. I just tell you, preempt the story and tell what's going to happen now. Judah will continue to go down the hill, yet he finally meets Tamar. And when she is pregnant, and he come out, and at first she says, take her out and let her burn. Let her be burned. And she said, do you know the stuff? The person who did it with me left his stuff. She did say his name in public. So he repent and say, to her, leave her alone. She is righteous. I am the father. When he said that in public, the name of Shekhinah, YHVH, descended on him 3 times on his story. So the Shekhinah is absent from the entire chapter, the entire segment of the book, but it appears with the story of Judah 3 times. He sanctified God's name in public. Everybody knows that he is admitting the case because he is the son of Jacob, royal family. And normally people don't do it, but he does it. So that elevate or restore the honor of God in the eyes of the people around him. He sanctified his God name. And then the next story is with Joseph himself. When he refuses to habit with the wife of his master, knowing that he's going to lose everything, he's going to be thrown to jail, maybe his life, yet he refused to do what she wanted. He rejected her, and his name, Hashem's name, appeared with this story of Joseph there 7 times. 7 times in just 4 or 5 sentences. It's unbelievable, condensed with Hashem's name. So Joseph sanctified God's name in the eyes of others because his master and the other people around him knew that he refused it because he's believing God, God of Israel. And that sanctified God's name in the eyes of the people around him. So Judah recovered from the blasphemy with Tamar, and Joseph recovered from Potiphar. Each of them is now continuing in the future to be blessed by kings and Messiah and so on. It's a very important point here, the historical aspect. Now, the rest of the family, the rest of the brother, you read it from the story, how Joseph, of course, manipulated him, but he hear all the time how they talk to each other, how they repent, they say all these evil things are happening to us because what they have done to our brother, we didn't listen to him and he cried. And in fact, they went down not to fetch food in the time of the hunger, but to seek a brother. They thought that Joseph was sold as a sex slave in a market there. And they were looking for the market, slave market, and the gates. They couldn't find him. But they didn't know that Joseph is listening to what they are telling him, what they say to each other. So they repent, they come out sanctifying God's name by the readiness to even to be arrested, but as long as they may find is their brother. So the rest of the story is coming out of the sin of blasphemy by sanctifying God's name in the eyes of others. If you wish, you can continue saying that even the Exodus, the story of Exodus, is actually the entire plague, 10 plagues were not done for Israel. They were done to teach the Egyptians the power of Hashem, YHVH. And Pharaoh, in fact, got the point at the night of the Exodus. We talk about it, and he saw the plague, the 10 plagues achieved the goal of sanctifying God's name in the eyes of the Egyptian. So the story continues, coming out from the sin of blasphemy. During even in the book of Exodus, until they got the Torah, but that's not enough. Until what? Until they came back to Israel. When Israel came back to the land of Israel, the cycle is closed now. The entire cycle of Jacob and his family going down to Egypt because of blasphemy, going to exile, and now they continue now with the coming up from the depression to return to Israel. And so that cycle is one cycle of blasphemy and sanctification, God's name. Returning to the land of Israel is increasing the honor of God's name in the eyes of the nations. You see today, and people of Israel are returning to the land of Israel. It had an impact on the whole world. It has increased the honor of the God of Israel in the eyes of the nations. Think about it. So, because the whole purpose is not just to redeem Israel, it's to impact the nations. Now, in the minute that I have, I want to focus now on the sin of the bad mouth. Obviously, the bad mouth that started the whole chain, speaking bad mouth on each other, is a very important point here. So what is so bad about bad mouth? Actually, what constitutes the sin of bad mouth? Of course, it's an enormous subject. There are famous books written about it. But according to the Rambam, you can summarize the points like this. If somebody is spreading lies about somebody else, that's bad mouth, lashon hara. That's classical lashon hara, bad mouth, speaking lies. Now, number two, if somebody is speaking the bad news, but true news about somebody else, he's not lying. He's just speaking true bad news about somebody else. That also consider bad mouth. The first option is called in Hebrew diba. Diba, I don't know how to translate it. Diba is speaking bad lies. And here you can speak the truth. Bad truth is also considered lashon hara. The third level, lower than that, you can speak anything, good, even good things about somebody in the eyes of his opponent. That's also considered lashon hara, and so forth. Now, of course, doesn't exhaust the all possibilities. Again, there are wonderful books written about it. But here, what did the brother do? You can say that either they spoke lies about each other. Certainly, they didn't speak the truth because most likely they didn't eat blood or something like that. So it was spreading lies. So why is bad mouth so despicable in the eyes of the Torah? Here you see that it started the whole chain of the exile. And if you think about it, when you speak bad mouth to somebody else, you actually diminish his honor. And that's the same thing that's very similar when I do an act of blasphemy, when I sell my brother to slavery, I cause I diminish the honor of God, as we said. Because if I'm a Torah observer and I do such thing, I diminish the honor of God. So diminish honor of God is blasphemy, and diminish the honor of somebody else by speaking badly, lashon hara. That's similar to the act of blasphemy. And if you look deeper, you can say man and God. The Torah equate here that man and God. Man is born, made by Elohim, in the image of Elohim, and if you destroy man's honor, you actually destroys also the king, the God honor, because God made us. So to say that man is a sinner or blame him about things, especially speaking lies, you diminish, as if you insult the God who made him. Think about it. So there is a connection between lashon hara and blasphemy. That's why lashon hara is considered one of the highest forms of sin. For instance, the incense, it says a bad mouth spread a bad stench in Hashem nostrils. So that's why, excuse me a second. So that's why the incense on the entrance of the temple gate, inner chamber, the golden altar incense, they said the smoke that came out from the incense is designed to take away the bad smell of the people of Israel who speak lashon hara on each other. So lashon hara is a major sin that caused the first exile. And the issue, again, if I sum up what we learned so far, the issue is the recognizing or diminishing. Blasphemy is diminishing the honor of God, because God is a king, deserve honor. And when I do anything to diminish the honor in the eyes of people, then I've committed desecration of God's name. I think I'll stop here. Any question for me tonight?